Welcome to the Outthinker Blogcast. My name is Krippendorff. This is the blogcast dedicated to helping you outthink your competition. This week I'm reporting from Brisbane, Australia. I'll give you a quick peek of what the city looks like. As you can see, it's a beautiful city on the water. There are two rivers going through it, filled with skyscrapers, incredible architecture, modern architecture, and really feels to me sort of like Miami, where I used to live. This week I'm working with an interesting company, helping them devise a growth strategy for the long term, a 5-year growth strategy. We finished up yesterday and it was really a fabulous experience. I want to share with you what we did because I believe that this process will help you design a truly innovative strategy. They say that man cannot create what he can't imagine. So your ability to create something spectacular for yourself or for your company is limited by your ability to imagine a future that is different than today. Now, some people are very good at this. Some people are not so good at that. So for those of us who are not naturally great at this, here are 8 questions that you can ask to help you design a vision for a future that's very different than today. The 8 questions fall into 3 categories. And I borrowed those from Sun Tzu. Sun Tzu, the ancient Chinese general, said that when a general goes into battle, he should consider 3 things. He should consider heaven, man, and ground. Heaven, in the case of business strategy, represents everything that's outside of our control in the environment. Man represents everything that you want for your company, for yourself. And ground represents all the other players in the game that you have to maneuver around. So when you're developing a strategy, you want to begin with a compelling vision for how the future will be different tomorrow. And to start with, consider heaven and look in 4 areas for heaven. Look at macroeconomic conditions. Ask where is the macroeconomy going in the long term in terms of GDP rates, interest rates, employment rates. What about technology? What major technology shifts do you see coming down the pipeline in the long term? Regulation. How's regulation going to change globally, nationally, and in your community? And societal shifts. What major societal shifts do you see in terms of demographics or in terms of customer buying patterns? Those are 4 questions you want to ask to define heaven. Next, you want to go to ground. Ground, again, represents all the other players in the game. And again, there are 4 things that you want to look at. For ground, you want to look at the competition, of course. What are the competition going to do? Who are your 3 or 4 key competitors? What do you expect they're going to be doing 5 years from now? Distributors, how are distributors changing? Is their bargaining leverage increasing or decreasing? Suppliers, how do you see the supply chain evolving and the power of suppliers growing or shrinking? And potential new entrants, either competing products or substitute products. What new entrants, maybe foreign entrants, do you expect to see in the game in the next 5 years? So those are the 4 areas that you want to look at in ground. After you define heaven and ground, you put yourself in that picture, and you want to put a bold, exciting vision for yourself and your company. And there are 2 areas that you want to look at. First is your vision. What does success look like for you to be thriving in that environment that you described and over that ground that you described? And then secondly, and this is the hardest part of the whole process, is what is the key metric that you're going to use to define your long-term vision, you having achieved your long-term vision. That could be something as simple as our total revenue per employee, our revenue growth rate, or it could be something more creative, like in our case, the client I was working with in Brisbane this week, they said that 30% of the energy that fuels, that's used by buildings would be managed by them. Very interesting, creative, bold strategy, strategic metric. So those are the 8 questions and the 3 areas you want to look at. Under heaven, do you want to look at macroeconomic conditions, technology, regulations, societal forces? For ground, you want to look at competitors, suppliers, distributors, and new entrants. And for man, you want to look at your vision and your metric. I think if you ask those 10 questions of yourself and your company, you're going to be on the path to building a really disruptive and innovative strategy. My name is Kaihan Krippendorff. This is the Outthinker Blogcast, the blogcast dedicated to helping you outthink your competition. I look forward to talking to you next week.